Yes, it's another beautiful Friday. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending with where you are watching us from. Karibuni sana to tonight's show. Yes, and as they say, promise is a debt. And I promised that last Friday, we are going to pick it from where we left. And so I am having Counselor Naomi Goge, and we want to pick it from where we stopped last Friday. Yes, and welcome to Couples Will Show. This is where we write down our love while we are alive, for we don't want our love stories to be read when we are 6 feet under. Neither do we want our love stories to be read when we are gone. And my name is Willie Kinyash. I'm a Dr. Love. And if this is your first time to be here, kindly ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because great things are happening right here on this channel. We gather here every Friday and we come to edify couples. We come to tell the whole world that marriage works. But the month of April, we are having a special edition whereby we are dealing with our children. And so we are doing the parenting. We want to do the parenting in the right manner. And last Friday we were looking at the latest four generations, and we talked about the Generation X, Generation Y, Millennial, Generation Z, and Generation A, Alpha. That is where we left it, and we are picking it from there. But before we go to that, Naomi is right here. Kwanza atusalimie. Hi Naomi.
Hello Willie.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Tunaendelea kutoka mahali tulianzia?
Yes, tunaendelea.
Tulisimamia.
Yes.
Si kuanzia.
Tulisimamia.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before then, maybe you can say hi. Probably there's someone who is watching for the first time.
Yes.
They were not tuned on Friday, so you can say hi, introduce yourself, and then we continue from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Willie. My name is Counselor Naomi Ngugi. I am a counseling psychologist. I'm also an advocate against domestic violence. I work with families, couples, parents, and anything to do with family. And I also founded Holistic Healing Well, which is a support group for survivors of domestic violence. And these things affect our generations, Willie. Yeah. So I'm glad to be here today to continue with the discussion from where we left. Yeah. We have Gen Alphas in our homes, so it's important that we get to know who are these people. Yes. And how do we parent them? And
exactly, who are these Gen Alpha?
So this is a generation that is 100% on technology. These are
100% on technology.
Yes.
And that reminds me of one philosopher called Albert Einstein. He once said that the day that technology will surpass human interaction, we'll be raising a generation full of idiots. I quote Albert Einstein.
You quote Albert Einstein.
Yes.
We had such a discussion just the other day with a few colleagues, and we were saying there is no way technology can replace human beings, and because technology was made by human beings,
yes,
you see, and we should not allow it to replace human interaction. We should actually use it to make our lives better, make our lives easier. The same way we used to wash our clothes, by hand. Now they are washing machines. They haven't replaced that. We can still wash our clothes, but we can still use washing machines because they make the work easier. We have dishwashers, we have microwaves, we have all this is part of technology.
But don't you think that technology is surpassing our human interaction? When you find the Gen Z, they have said, let's go out for a movie. They have paid for this movie. But the whole 2 hours, you'll find someone alikuwa kwa simu. Na walienda movie kwa simu.
Yes.
You find others, they say let's go for swimming. Akaenda akatoa nguo, akavaa swimming costume, akakalia ile coach, akachukua simu.
Hata hajaingia kwa maji.
Hajaingia kwa maji, but walienda swimming. Don't you think that there's a problem right there?
Technology is like money. It is a tool. It depends. It's like money. What do you want to do with your money? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with technology? So we have to be very disciplined and not to allow like addictions, you know, when it comes even to gaming, using technology. And these are issues that we are dealing with Gen Z and with Gen Alpha. Issues of addiction, you know, with the technology in a way that it is even affecting their schoolwork, their work life, you know. There are places now that when you get into that office, you put your phone somewhere. Because employers have realized these people, every 2 seconds they're on the phone, it is affecting their performance. Some students have been recommended to go for therapy because of phone addiction. When they get home, they can't even do their homework. Because of phone addiction. But it's really a matter of discipline and using technology as a tool for your advantage rather than your disadvantage. Now, having said that, it is not easy. Because this is a generation, these two generations, Z and Alpha, are being parented by who? By millennial parents. These millennial parents, what is it that they are modeling? These are the parents who come to the dining table with the phone. You know, I watched another clip and the lady of the house was serving food for everyone, but she had a bowl. You put your phone there, you served your food, you go to the dining table. And she did that for the children. And when the husband came, it was supposed to be a joke. He had 3 phones. So the lady would serve and then like put the other one, put the iPad, put the other phone, until they put all the phones on the, you know, on the bowl, and they pick their phones after eating food. Now, it may look like a joke, but we have to be very disciplined as parents. And remember, we are the millennial parents. And phones, these phones found us. As we are buying our children phones when they are very young. But for us, we got the phones when we were still, you know, we were grown-ups.
We were working.
We were working.
Yes.
But remember, the parent is the God-given authority of the home. You are the one showing your home the direction that you're going. You can have, together with this Gen Z and Gen Alpha, because this is a generation that is not just following instructions. They want their voice to be heard. So you sit down and agree. We will be having a phone off hour between this time and this time. When we are coming to eat together, we don't carry our phones. And then you model it. So that means that you must have overcome the phone addiction yourself and the technology addiction yourself, so that you model that to your children. Remember the Gen X, the boomers?
Yes.
They used to carry newspaper home. So when they come home, they put their food on the couch and they are reading the paper, and you are trying to tell this person it is time to eat, and they are reading the paper cover to cover. Now our newspaper is
on the phone,
on the iPad. So really, it is the same problem manifesting differently.
I see.
And the solution is really the same.
I see.
It is discipline and priority.
You see, this reminds me of, you know, when we were in high school, that Friday, we were always waiting for Fridays, because that is the day the envelopes.
The love letters. That is the day the love letters is given out, yes.
Yes.
Imagine it's really the same thing. As we said, there is nothing new under the sun.
True.
Although now we are living that dispensation that was prophesied, there will be a lot of information. There was information where everybody was running for the newspaper. You go to the office, you know, and you're all running for the newspaper. Then,
even hotels.
Yes.
The first thing they would do in the morning is to buy newspapers.
Exactly. And then the Gen X, the same people who 9 o'clock, we are all watching news. 7, we are all watching news, And especially that 9 o'clock, these news were like a religion.
They would call them prime news.
Exactly, prime news.
Yes.
And no one would be that. You cannot pass through
in front of the TV. No.
Utakongwa na kiatu, you know? That is the same thing. It's the same maybe addiction with a sport like football.
Football,
Yeah. And the thing is, don't allow these things to surpass your relationship with God, your relationship with your family, you have to be very disciplined. Yeah, it's like the way they say that you get money and then you add another spouse. The issue is the same. You are allowing these material things to surpass the important things of life.
Yeah.
So you as a parent, you must have such a solid foundation, in God and in terms of what is the vision for my family. Because you find that most of the times you get married, you start getting children and parenting them, but you don't even have a vision.
Yeah.
So without a vision, I mean, the people perish.
Yes.
So you can see that the reason our families are perishing is really lack of, vision. Such that now when you come home, all of you are in the sitting room. No one is talking to the other. All of you are in your phones.
And that is what Albert Einstein maybe was talking about.
That is the idiocy that probably he saw.
Yes.
Yeah. But it is important to apply wisdom. It is very important. Don't allow anything to surpass the important things of life. Nowadays, you find people are WhatsApping each other, one in the kitchen, the other one in the bedroom.
Imagine. Yeah.
And we should not allow technology to replace human interaction. Man, by design and by creation, is a social being. And yes, you are saying this is social media. I'm interacting with people. But you can be interacting with people you don't know, giving them more attention on social media, and you are hurting the people that you're supposed to be socializing with, which is your family.
The people that are very close
to you. So you're so close, yet so far.
Yes.
You see. And we should not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And especially as parents. So as millennial parents that the phones found us and we got used to them, we should be able to create family principles and values by which our families operate with. And remember, we want to include the Gen Z and Alpha so that we all agree together. This is not the generation that obeys without questioning. So you need to explain to them that in this family, between this hour and this hour, we want to have dinner, then we do our devotions, we check out on how was our day, and then you can go back to your phone. Create that bond, create that bond. Let your family have a strong bond. Because one of the things, in the last show, we talked about Gen Z going through a lot of anxiety. And what they do when they are in that anxiety and maybe depression, they do mindless scrolling. It's a coping mechanism. It's a way of escaping from the real world. So you, as the millennial parent, you'll keep complaining that this Gen Z is always on the bed, always on their phone. They don't come to interact with other people. But what you are not seeing is the reason behind that is a form of maybe an anxiety. But if you had frequent interactions with your child, even 30 minutes per day, even an hour per day, just get to find out how is school, how is schoolwork, are you able to cope? Statistics are showing that 40% of our university students are having depression in Kenya.
Yeah. So
you don't want to take chances and assume that because this Gen Z is in the university, they are already adults, they already know what to do, which is a mistake that millennials picked from Gen X. Remember Gen X, ukipelekwa mpaka college, kwanza wewe umesomeshwa mingi sana. Jipange. Sasa you are an adult, If you do the same to a Gen Z and you leave them at age 19, 20 when they are at the university, then you will not be able even to pick that they're having a challenge with their mental health that needs to be addressed. Then you keep saying this person is always on the phone.
Yeah.
But it is a coping mechanism that they're using. So you start by putting your phone down and engaging your children. You have to do that. And these are things that are affecting even marriages, even couples. You are in bed. You are supposed to be doing other activities. But what are you doing? You are on phone, facing this side. The other one is on phone, facing the other side. And that is how you start putting cracks in your relationship.
Yeah.
And when you give the devil an opportunity, he comes in, and has a field day.
Wow.
We have to be very intentional in human-to-human interaction and communication. That cannot be replaced because it is God's given design and how we are actually created. So technology cannot replace human interaction, but it can enhance. You can use, like now we have online meetings, you know. In those online meetings, put your video on, let people see you. It enhances that, you know, human interaction. So we use technology for our gain, but not for our loss. But that calls for a lot of discipline. We use our technology to even communicate with our children. Kitambo, when you go to university, until the day you close, your parent does not know what is happening to your life because there was no mode of communication. But now you can talk to your child every day and find out how they are, you know, how they are doing, you know. So that in that way, technology will help you. When they come home, drop the technology and use the face-to-face interaction. Otherwise, if we replace that, actually, technology and social media interaction, when you're interacting with so many people that you don't know, it creates also a form of loneliness. It does that. And that now increases chances of depression and anxiety. There's, the way man is created, you will need to talk to someone face to face. You will need to do that. So if you eliminate that, it comes with various challenges. And most of those challenges are, you know, psychosocial challenges. And this Gen Alpha is at a higher risk of anxiety and depression and loneliness, even more than Gen Z.
Why?
Because the toys that we used to buy Gen Z, and they could come together, you know, deassemble the toys, assemble them, play with the toys. That toy has become one tool. There are even two small tablets now for children, you see. So that child will not, will have a difficult time learning how to socialize. Like now, parents can attest, like now when children are on holiday, a child can be on a couch the whole day.
From morning
to evening.
They don't even want to take lunch.
No. And also this generation Alpha, they have the phone or the tab on their hands and the TV is on. They're listening to, you wonder how miraculously
you can watch that TV and also you're on your tablet.
We have them in our houses.
True.
You switch off and they tell you I'm watching, and you're like, how is it that you're watching? And
you have something on your hand.
You have another gadget on your hand. You see. So that they are at risk of obesity. You know, and then these are now the people who their creativity is going to be affected because this driving the Katoy car, they are moving from one place to another. You deassemble the Katoy, you bring back together. It's, you know, it helps in brain development. So what we are saying is have scheduled time. You know, screen time, play time. We are not again saying that your child will not use technology because then they'll be left behind by the world. But have timings, agree that from this time to this time, you need to go and ride your bike, play with other children, play kati, you know, I don't know if they play hide and seek, you know, and have that interaction with other children. Then from this time to this time, you can use your gadget. You see, and you also need to find out what is it that they are watching. Because we are living at a time when even the cartoons have, you know, they have been affected by other philosophies. Maybe the, you know, LGBTQ. You find that those are philosophies that are being brought in that were not there. So this Gen Alpha are very independent. They are, you know, 5 years. We say 2013 till, you know, we are in the Alpha now. And they are very independent. They want they want to be heard, and they want to be put into consideration when you are seated as a family and you are discussing things. Even when it comes to what they are doing with their gadgets, they want to be independent. And remember, you may not know how to navigate through. So you have to be intentional in wanting to know what are you watching, because they want to make decisions for themselves. And this is also what they are learning from what they are watching.
Yeah.
You see, that you can make decisions for yourself, you can decide. So they are very diverse. You know, they have a lot of diversity, even in lifestyles and in points of view. You see, this is the generation that I will tell you, give me your phone, I need to research on something. The first time my Gen Alpha told me that, I was like, you are doing research, like, you know,
5
research,
years old.
the research, research for me is like you are.
You have had it when you're in college.
Thank you. You want to do research, you know?
Yes.
But that is how even the learning is for them,
Yeah.
you know? So for them, they don't know a life without technology. They don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So that means that they are very diverse even in their lifestyles. They are very diverse. The way they think is very different from everybody else because they are really being shaped a lot by the technology. So it is you as the parent to now give them direction. Look for those Christian movies. Watch together with them. You know, let them watch the Christian cartoons. Don't let other philosophies to bring them up. Because we shape the child. What you teach the child, especially 0 to 7 years, is research has shown they will really base a lot of their decisions on what you have taught 0 to 7 years. Those are the years to lay a foundation of what you want to see in your child. So you want to be very intentional to train up your child in the way that they should go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the age also of cartoons and of everything. Nowadays they are learning ABCD. They don't even call it ABCD through the cartoons. By the time the child is going to school, they know 1, 2, 3. They know ABCD, everything. So they can know about God through that technology that they're using. So it is you as a parent to decide how do you want to use technology for your Gen Alpha. Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to have some challenges because of being hyper connected. You know, they have reduced attention span and concentration. If you ask teachers, they'll tell you that they have, you know, reduced concentration and attention span because when you're watching two things, you're not really building the concentration muscle.
Yeah.
But when you remove all the toys, all the parts are different, or there are some toys that come there are not assembled, then you have to concentrate, assemble them. You're building this, so they know this is what you're building. So you concentrate until you build this. So that builds concentration. So when this child is watching short videos on what they're holding on their hand, other things are making noise there on the screen, their attention span is really affected. And this will affect their schoolwork. Yeah. When they go to school, they'll not be able to concentrate because the child is growing up. Concentration is something that is built, and attention to be able to concentrate. It's an ability that is built. So that's why we say don't allow them to spend too much time. You have to limit screen time because this child is, you know, you're bringing them up. You want them to know how to concentrate in class, how to start a task and finish a task, which is very important. They have less time socializing. So again, this calls for you, the parent, guiding. Yeah, that you're not the one who comes home and you're on phone until 11 p.m. See? So you want to guide so that they don't have less of socializing. Remember, if they socialize less with people, they increase the chances of, you know, feeling lonely. And you also don't know the information that they are consuming too much. How will that information shape them? So you may start seeing, or maybe the teacher may tell you your child is behaving this way. And you say, no, that is not my child. But they have actually learned it from somewhere. You see, your child can tell you something and you're like, where did you learn that from? Find out where did they learn that from. Either it will be, you know, from social media, from neighborhood, or from some place. But they are learning. They have picked it from some place. Yeah. So you want to lay a very good foundation as a parent. They have reduced ability to happiness because of the loneliness and the anxiety and the depression. Research has shown that there's a link between rise of use of smartphones and rise of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. So we don't want those numbers of Gen Alpha to reach the numbers of Gen Z. Remember, if now, these ones are hyper-connected already. So by the time they get to Gen Z and they have no social skills, they can't make friends. They can't socialize. This is the age where we are also embracing things like homeschooling, you know, and all that. So if they're too much, or even if they come from school and they come at home and they don't get out like the whole weekend until the following Monday when they are going to school, it is going to affect how they socialize. By the time they get to that age, you know, teenage and young adults, how will that person interact with people? It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
And human interaction is a way of life, is part of life as we were created. Yeah.
Wow. Now, talking about all this, there's so much that is going on through my head, I'm wondering, as parents, how do you overcome the generational gap between parents and these children? How do you overcome all this, the generational gap?
Yeah. I think the first thing to do is to first understand. First understand you are in which generation, you yourself. You're in which generation? What are the challenges you faced in life? Do you have any childhood woundedness or traumas or ACEs that you want to deal with? Because you are also coming from a certain background. The parenting style that maybe you're using could be as a result of you're copy-pasting what the parenting style, what your parents did, or you're trying to run away from what they did. Yeah. So the best thing is to first understand where are you coming from as a parent. Yeah. And what did you come with into this parenting that you are in? What did you come with? You carried maybe some baggage. Deal with that first. Because you realize that, let's say a millennial is parenting Gen Z. And that Gen Z is questioning, you know, they want to know, why are we doing this and why are we doing it this way? You were brought up in a generation that people don't question. There is just a blind obedience. You don't even ask why. You know, it was blind obedience that was expected wherever you went, whether you went to school, at home, in church, wherever you went, anyone who was older than you, you weren't allowed to question them. Now someone younger than you is questioning you. You have not healed from those experiences of being silenced and shut down. So when now your Gen Z is questioning you, they are pricking on a wound that hasn't healed. You yourself, you have not been able maybe to overcome, you know, that woundedness, or you became timid, or you just don't question people because you think that is the way of life according to how you were brought up. So when a younger person questions you, you start saying they're disrespecting you. And Gen Z is like, what is wrong with me asking a question? And that is how conflicts come in. Yeah, that's how conflicts come in, because you yourself as a parent, you have not understood yourself. Yeah, you are two parents in the house. The other parent has also come with some baggage. You see, I had parents who will spank their children. Like, you spank a Gen Z, and it is such an alien idea to them that they may take forever to forgive you, if at all. They won't take it as discipline. They would take it as rejection. They would take it as, you know, my parent does not love me. And we have had even such stories in therapy. They don't understand that type of discipline. They don't understand. Remember, even in schools, spanking was abolished. So when you come home and you have not taken time to understand your Gen Z, and so when they do something, you get so annoyed that you just do exactly what your parent did. You take slippers or a mwiko and you start spanking. What you have just done is that you have made the gap between you and your child to become bigger.
Yeah.
And you realize, and I have seen it even in therapy, the parent would say, even after beating, they did not improve.
You see? But they get worse.
They get worse. That is the time they will shut down completely. Because for them, their way of life is dialogue. Negotiating. We sit down with dialogue. You listen to me. Yeah. Millennials were brought up by a generation that thought children don't have a say.
Kiboko.
Wherever you go, in school, if you made a mistake, you're beaten by the teacher and you are beaten at home.
Yes.
You see? And you don't question anything. Then this is Gen Z. They believe in negotiating. Even in schools, that's the same model that is being used. They are not scared of their teachers. They talk with their teachers, so freely, you see. So if you now come back and start using the same modes of discipline that was used in yesteryear, spanking may have worked for you. And by the way, even for those people who they say it has worked for them, when you dig deeper, you find a lot of trauma.
Yes.
You see? So you have to first understand yourself, understand the challenges that the generation you are raising is facing. They are facing different types of challenges. For example, Gen Z, we say they're prone to anxiety, and some of them, they have actually embraced therapy. There's, and even research will show Gen Z have really embraced therapy very well. And some of them are going for therapy. But then there's a group that is using the wrong coping mechanisms for anxiety. Gen Z are using a lot of cannabis and alcohol. Yeah. And I think even in our nation, I mean, we can see that.
Yeah,
we can see that. So then your Gen Z will start using any of the substances. It could be alcohol, it could be, cigarettes, it could be anything. And then now you are dealing with that, especially as a Christian. You cannot imagine the level of embarrassment that your Gen Z is causing you.
Yeah.
That they are using substances and you are at the
pastor.
forefront. You are, you're at the forefront there, and you are like, this demon came from where? And you start casting demons. And Christians, when we don't know how to solve a problem,
we see demons.
We see demons.
Yes.
And we call a prayer meeting.
Yeah.
And we call the Gen Z to be prayed for by our, our team of couples.
Yeah.
And now you have just made things worse.
Yeah.
And this is something, actually, the use of substance is not the problem. The problem is the problem. So as long as you don't address the problem, then the use of substance will continue. Yeah. So, and this can be resolved by dialogue. Just sitting down, you unlearn. We talked about unlearning. You talked about unlearning and learning in the previous
relearning.
And relearning. You have to unlearn some of these things that you pick that may not work in this generation. For example, when millennials were growing up, the issue of alcohol and substance use was not as much as it is now. See? So if you don't unlearn, then you end up now having other issues that will come up that will be bigger for you to handle, and will take longer to resolve. While if you had taken 30 minutes per day, engage your child, engage them in discussion, understand them, how is school work? What is happening? One day I asked my Gen Alpha, how was school? How was school this year? And I was surprised. So I was so stressed. I'm like,
why?
It's more like this. I was so stressed. Why? Because the teacher told us we have to write our homework on the diary.
Yes.
In the last year, the teacher used to write for us.
Yeah. No, I'm the one to do it.
No, but then I'm so stressed. And I have to even put the diary in my bag.
Yes.
Yeah. And I looked at the seriousness. I'm like, oh, yeah, you are really stressed. Really, I can say you are really stressed. But what I was trying to do is just to review the year and get to understand what were the challenges. You see? And let me tell you, it may look very small for you as a parent, but it's very big.
For that generation Alpha,
it's very big.
That's something huge.
It is something very huge. So Gen Z also will tell you other challenges that they are facing that may not look like an issue to you, but you need to listen to them. You need to give them when someone tells you their challenge, it is not from your point of view, it is from their point of view. You see, it is actually from their point of view. So you help them and you understand them from their point of view. If every day you're able to review the day, like, how was your day? Most likely they're going to say good. They'll never say bad. It's like the way you ask someone, how are you? Okay. But when you dig deeper, you find there are issues. So don't ask, how was your day? Just say, what happened in school? Yeah, what happened in school? That is, it will help them to talk more. Yeah. For Gen Z, you'll be like, so what's going on in your life? What's happening? What's new? What's, and start talking. And then parents will say, these ones, they don't talk. Parents will say, these ones, they don't talk. It is something that you cultivate.
Yeah.
If you have Gen Alpha, start now. Start building that rapport with them. That they don't just see you as the authority figure, but they see you as someone they can run to. Because as a parent, it's important to offer your children safety and security. Those two are the key needs of a child. Let your child know that no matter what happens in the outside world, I can come home. I can come home pregnant. I can come home drunk. I can come home the way I am. I can come home. Before we sort out all the other things, let the child come home.
Yes.
Then we will start sorting out everything else. Because if the child cannot come home, where are they going to go?
That is a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
And I want us to stop at that point and we pose that challenge to the parents. Can you ask them that question?
Yes. If your child cannot come home, where else can they go?
If your child cannot come back home after taking alcohol, after that girl realizes that I am pregnant, if she can't come back home, where else will she go? I think that is something we need to sit down as parents and think. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I feel like this is not a discussion we can be able to do in 2 episodes. We need to do more. And I think we need to create time and come and continue speaking to parents so that we can be able to learn and get this wisdom so that we can be able to apply it, so that we can be able to help our children. And when we help our children, we'll be able or be raising a generation that is responsible. And that is the key thing. We need to raise up men and women who are responsible. So thank you so much for coming. We feel honored. And thank you for oozing that wisdom. We are so much grateful.
You're welcome.
How can people connect with you? There's someone who is watching and says, I would love to connect with that woman. How can they connect with you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. You can connect with me through social media.
Yes.
Yeah, all my social media platforms are Councillor Naomi Ngugi. On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Willie. Yes, you can call me on 0780-561-751. My office is at CBD, Kemu Hub. And we can link up. I also do online counseling. So we can link up through any means. We have said that technology is for our good. So whichever part of the world you're watching us from, connect with us and we are going to help you. Yes. And we are going to bring up children after God's own heart. And we are going to correct the mistakes that we have made as parents. It is never too late. We will correct those mistakes. We will enhance the bond between you and your children.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And the Lord bless you.
Amen.
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 And I want to leave you with that one big challenge. When that boy, when that girl makes a mistake, can he or she come back to your house? Or should start thinking of, where can I go now? Have you closed all the doors for her, for him? That when he or she does something wrong, they feel like my world has come to an end. It is a challenge to all of us as parents. Well, thank you so much for joining in. My name is Willie Kinyash and this is Couples Will Show. This is where we write down our love when we are alive, for we don't want our love stories to be read when we are 6 feet under. That we want our love stories to be read when we are gone. And that is why Counselor Naomi Ngugi had to come and sign the love will through educating us on how we can become good parents. Kwaheri ya kuonana, and if this is your first time to be here, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kwaheri ya kuonana.